Hello ladies and gentlemen, I will be bringing you a game today between two Masters League players, Zerg Al Capone over here, Al Capone, there's a W there, but you may not know this, in Greek, Omega is a W and it sounds like an O. So I don't know if that's what he's trying to say, or he's saying like Al Capone, like he's going to pawn people who he plays against. I don't know. But either way, here we are with a Zerg versus Protoss game. And our Protoss player is going to do a little bit of scouting. And first he's going to put down the pylon like ordinary Protoss players do. And we'll speed the game up just a little bit. And we'll look at the production tab just so we know what everyone is doing. So here we have the Zerg trick, where you pretend like you're making an extractor and you explode it in order to make an extra drone. You may have missed it, but he did that just a moment ago. And here he chases the Protoss probe around the map, and I think that's always a good idea because the Protoss player will so often put up a proxy pylon if you do not do that. And if you chase him around, it forces him to take out another probe to send to put up that proxy pylon. And one thing Masters League players do is they will put those proxy pylons all over the place because they like to be able to what's the word, predict. They like to be able to guess where the next expo might be, and if you can get your probe there, then you can place that pylon there before the expo is there, and as soon as the expo goes down, then you can cause some serious damage. Like here, for instance, would be a good place for that. So this is not any kind of all-out at all. It's just simply let's see what we can do with 5 zealots while we expand kind of deal. And I think it's a good idea for Protoss to wall off against Zerg completely. You can always warp in units wherever you need to, and you can always open the store later on in the game. You can also blink around, and due to the recent patch, you can use warp prisms more effectively because the warp prisms now have more life. So it's kind of handy to have more life where he's still just sitting there. And our Zerg player's got some overlords hanging out, trying to see what's going on. Still have one zealot coming out. Look at the units tab. There are actually, ironically, there are actually 0 units of war on the map. Now we have 1 zealot. Because that little battle over here actually was perfectly evenly matched. So now what we see is we see both sides expoing. And this really is how you have to beat Zerg. You gotta out macro Zerg. As hard as that sounds, it is possible. And if you can expo before the Zerg player does, I think your chances of winning the game are actually very strong. Because usually Zerg players will not do early all-in, and if they do, I mean you can tell if they expo whether or not they're probably going to do some kind of all-in early or early serious harassment or attack. But the reason why you're pretty safe in early expoing against Zerg is because for the first 6 minutes of the game, usually Zerg is just making drones and expoing themselves. So you might as well too. I mean, they might send a couple lings your way, but again, if you just fully block in and put up a couple defensive structures, then you should be good to go. So now we see that to get spotted, that worker, here's a zealot. It's almost able to hold that. and here is another Zealot. So that probe did succeed in finding the third base of the Zerg player, I believe. Let's see if he spotted it. Well, maybe he didn't. But he could have a pretty good idea, since this guy got killed. And that Zealot had no chance. So, let's look at the production tab again. You see, indeed, some more prisms are coming out. That's a miscued unit right there. You don't want the Immortal to try to find its way all the way over there. And we see Banelings being created, but they have been spotted as the observer goes over there. Actually, he may not have. Okay, now I spotted them. So what would you do if you saw a whole bunch of Banelings as a Terran player, or as a Protoss player? Well, hopefully one thing you might notice is that they're disappearing into these overlords, because Zerg players can use their overlords as transport units, as you probably know. So here there are a bunch of a bunch of Banelings inside of this overlord, and inside of another overlord as well. And this is what you do not want to happen. Wow. The income tab went from like 60 to 43. That is not what you want to happen. Here we have a little, meanwhile, some minor harassment going on over here with some elevator usage of the warp prism. Unfortunately for our Protoss player, that wasn't the only overlord filled up with Banelings on the map. There's actually a couple more. But what's this? Looks like he's gonna try to strike back the same kind of harassment that he just received. Let's see if this big drop can do some damage to the Zerg player. Let's watch the Zerg player's reaction. Bringing in his lanes. Actually, his main hatchery just went down. That's gotta hurt. And I love how these warp prisms are all spread out. And threw up some force fields. This is right before the. Actually, must be right after the new patch. Looks like the Immortal has a range of 6. The unit is no stronger, and he actually used hallucination. So the Zerg player is seeing some Colossus that aren't really there. And here's a Overlord, Overseer cocoon. As soon as that arrives, it's going to spot which units are real and which are fake. So it just goes away. They were pretty much done anyway. So that was a pretty good use of the hallucination. Usually don't see that hallucination used much. And meanwhile, we still have units being warped in over here, which is a very good idea because oftentimes the Zerg will be rebuilding important unit production facilities in their expos while you're attacking the main, and it's most likely it will be at the expo furthest away, and there is game over. I believe there was another Baneling drop during this game actually, but anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and talk to you guys next time.